Hello listeners, welcome back. Today's session gets a little PG as I get a chance to sit down and talk to Dalton from Atomic Broad. But today we're going to discuss his new project, his solo work, Missing Teeth. Dalton shares his experience in creating his own projects, finding the confidence within himself to put himself out there, and becoming a member of a band and realizing what his full potential can be. So tune in and enjoy. Welcome to IPA Sessions. Welcome to IPA Sessions, a podcast for independent artists. This is a place where your host, that's me, Kay Jacob, likes to help provide inspirations for practical application in entertainment. And today we have a guest that hasn't been on before, but we've had part of their band before. This is Dalton of Atomic Broad, here to promote his new project, Missing Teeth, and here to talk about the new album that is out right now, Agoraphobia. Dalton, welcome to the show. Say hi.
Thank you. Hi, how you doing? My name's Dalton. I go under the name Missing Teeth for my solo stuff, and I play guitar in Atomic Broad and Pecos Bill Rides Again.
Nice. I'm excited to have you on because when I had Skylar on last season, they were so awesome about the whole process it took for them to create the band and form it together, and how you just kind of came along and really helped bring more of them together. So I'm excited that I got you on today. You know, we're not here to talk about Atomic Broad, but we're definitely happy to give them a shout out. We're going to focus on Missing Teeth today, but also BJ is another member from Atomic Broad that you work with, and you actually have a side project with him as well.
That's correct.
What's that project?
So we have like a side math rock duo project called Pecos Bill Rides Again. It's at least on my end, I'm not really sure about BJ's end. I don't want to speak too much for him, but on my end, I'm really inspired by like the 2000s math rock scene with bands like Hella, which was a two-piece.
Doesn't Tool fall in that category too, with the timing and stuff?
Tool falls in the timing. They're more like prog metal though. Math rock's like a little bit more punk inspired.
Nice. Okay.
It's like, it's not, a lot of it's instrumental, and that's what Pecos Bill is. It's an instrumental rock dude.
And I love that name, Pecos Bill Rides Again. I love Atomic Broad, and I love Missing Teeth. You're very clever with these names. These are excellent band names, and it feels like each one really fits what the style of each project is. I really dig that.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it.
No problem. So why don't you kind of just take us through Missing Teeth? Tell us a little bit about Missing Teeth. What is this project of yours? And just walk us through the steps of what you do for Missing Teeth, and then kind of getting into the process of the album that you did, Agoraphobia, because it's a solo project. It's just you, correct?
That is correct, yeah.
Awesome. Take us through it, man. I want to hear what you got.
So when I guess we can start like a little bit further back. I've been writing and making music since I was about 15 or 16. My the first EP I ever made, I was like 15. It's awful. It's awesome, but it's awful. I recorded it on a gaming headset.
Oh wow!
I actually remember it was a Kraken version 1, which is like this bright green obnoxious headset.
I think this will make Skylar happy knowing that they recorded theirs on an amp at least.
No, not at all. Yeah, and I did Audacity, and I stuck like the bit that you talk into. Yeah. I stuck that into the acoustic guitar, like literally in between. I never played with the high E string for one reason or back in the day. I was like, it was mostly power chords or whatever. So I would stick it in between the B and E string, and then like kind of hold it with my knees like together while I was recording, and then I would do a separate take for vocals where I would wear it on my head.
Oh, that's so cool. I mean, it's very experimental. I bet it's a unique sound for sure.
Yeah, it actually sounds better than I remember. I actually re-listened to that album the other day because I was just kind of curious, and I was sitting in my Google Drive, and I was like, you can barely tell this is made with a headset. I don't know how I pulled it off. It's a little bit there, but I play it off.
Yeah, sorry. Continue. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh no, feel free to at any point. I love to elaborate on things.
Excellent.
But yeah, so I've been writing and playing for a while, and for a long time I didn't want to be a solo artist. I wanted to be in a band setting, but I didn't really find, for a long time, I just didn't know anyone who played music at all. It was kind of like I don't know. I was the only one. When I went to high school, like nobody was musicians outside of like people in band, and they all hated it. So it's not like I would be like, hey, do you want to do more of that thing you hate? So I kind of did nothing. I kind of spent like years and years and years just playing other people's songs and just like practicing guitar and singing and all that kind of stuff. And I kind of stopped writing for, I would say, like from 16 till probably like 19. For 3 years. I didn't write a single song. I was just honing in the playing aspect. And then I started a band finally with some people, but they weren't exactly like on my wavelength, I guess. They just, they were kind of like newer to their instruments. And I felt like for some band practices, I was giving free guitar lessons, not really making music. So I kind of just dropped that, but I still wanted to be in a band. So I was searching around on Craigslist, and that's when I found the Atomic Broad ad. And I originally answered it saying I was interested, and then some life stuff got in the way. And I had to decline actually like right before my audition.
Ooh.
And that was that for like 4 or 5 months. Like I was just like, and then I kind of regretted it instantly. I was like, man, I kind of blew it. And then Skylar like texted me, I guess, from like, they still had my number. I didn't even have their number saved. And they were like, hey, are you sure? Do you want to try out? And I was like, well, I screwed up the first time. Let me not screw up twice. So I said, yes.
Hey, look at that. If it's meant to be, it was meant to be.
Yeah, and I went in and I auditioned, and Skylar was being kind of like not trying to get my hopes up, I guess. They were like, we have a couple more auditions and, we'll let you know. And I was like, okay. And then before I even made it home, they texted me, you're in.
I was about to say, because I remember when we talked to Skylar, they were saying how they were just blown away by how great you connected with them instantly.
They definitely played it off.
BJ was there too, right, at the time?
Yeah.
They're smart on their part. They can't blow your mind too much, inflate your ego, I mean.
Yeah, well, they told me they had other auditions that day. I don't know how true that was, but then they were like, yeah, we didn't even get them to come over. Like, I was like, awesome.
So you got together, you joined up with Atomic Broad. Obviously, you guys click really well. The band is excellent. I love the album that just came out, Conversion Therapy. Great work all around for the whole crew. Excellent. But what got you more into doing Missing Teeth? What led you in that direction?
So it was just like I was writing a lot of songs for this previous band that didn't pan out. And I was sitting there and I was like, man, I was sitting on like probably 2 to 2.5 albums worth of material. Most of which is just scrapped. But at the time I was like, I wasn't really looking so much at the quality of the music, but just the sheer quantity. And I'm like, I've been writing for like, I'm 23 now. So that was 4 years of just like it was 3 years of trying to get this band to work, and then me just giving up and joining Broad. And I've been in Broad, not a full year, but like a chunk of it. Like, I don't know, I would say like 7 months, but I just kept writing. So I'm like, man, I'm sitting on all these songs, and I would sometimes like play them for BJ and friends and stuff. And they were like, dude, you need to just do it. Like, forget the band and just do it. My girlfriend's is really supportive, and we had recently seen a couple like solo acoustic acts, and she's like, Dalton, you can do it. Just do it. And I was like, okay. So that I just did it.
That's like a theme in our show. Just do it.
Yeah. So Missing Teeth actually officially started, I would say, in October of 22, and I released the album in January of January 10th of 23.
Oh, wow. So you literally went from the release of the Atomic Broad album right into your own project and getting that out by January.
Yeah, that kind of inspired me. I'm not on the Atomic Broad album. It was like all recorded before I even joined the band. But like having it released was just like, well, Skylar did it, so I'm gonna do it.
That's smart. And so you perform with them now, so I'm guessing the next album you'll be more input on that.
Yeah. I've already recorded some stuff. I don't know, like, how I want to leave it at that because I don't know what I'm allowed to say, but like some of it is going to be released. Some of it's like demos and stuff, but I am going to be on the next release.
Yeah. And I know I want to have all of you on again because it was great talking to Skylar. It's been cool so far with you, but we're going to go back to Missing Teeth. I'm sorry for jumping all around.
I don't apologize at all.
I do love that your work coming in with Atomic Broad helped inspire you to, go out there and push your solo work, and that, you have the support of your band. Like you have the support of Skylar and BJ, which is great. And now you got this new album out, Agoraphobia from Missing Teeth. Kind of take me through what that was like for you, putting it all together.
I do want to inject really quick that Skylar and BJ have been incredibly supportive of this project, and I think I would be I'd be wrong not to mention how much they kind of pushed me to get through it as well. So
awesome.
Yeah. So but originally the album was halfway recorded with a completely different style from what people hear now. So currently in its final form, Agoraphobia is like super stripped back. I took a lot of inspiration from how Nick Drake recorded Pink Moon, how there's like no dubs except for the first song. There's like 2 or 3 piano bits, but for the rest of the album, it's just him and an acoustic guitar. And I thought that was awesome. I'm also a big fan of Shoo Shoo. They have an acoustic album and stuff. And I was like, I think that these songs are strong enough to where if they work on the most basic primal level, then I think I'll have a good record.
I was gonna say, I think that's cool too, because I remember back in the 90s when a lot of the, I guess you could say the Seattle rock music was kicking off, like Nirvana, right. Pearl Jam. I even think maybe Red Hot Chili Peppers at one point. Everyone did the unplugged albums where it was just them doing just acoustic. So it's kind of cool that you're dipping your toes back into something that we really haven't heard a lot of in a while.
Yeah, I think that is probably a subconscious inspiration as well. Like I don't really listen to grunge too much anymore, but when I was super into grunge, I would religiously listen to the Alice in Chains Unplugged and the Nirvana Unplugged. So that probably was
one of the best albums too. And I love those bands. I grew up listening to a lot of that. I was big into that as well. But to this day, I still will revisit the Unplugged albums.
I occasionally come back. I would say I was completely obsessed, especially with the Alice in Chains one. I was absolutely obsessed. And I'll come back every now and then. I'll be like, yeah, this is still cool. And then I go back to what I'm normally listening to just to make sure it's still cool.
Of course.
But of course it is still cool. But the original version of Agoraphobia, I had recorded, so it's an 8-track album. And I had recorded the first 4 and like a half songs with a much more electronic feel. I wouldn't say it was 100% electronic. There's still guitar in there, except for the original version of I believe it's the second or it's the 3rd track on the album, Dollars and Dimes. The original version is all synth. There's absolutely no analog guitar or anything like that. It's all synth and like digital drums. And it was originally, I was trying to, I guess like I was initially kind of self-conscious or like not confident enough to just, at that time, to just play the songs in their stripped back format. I felt like I needed all these bells and whistles. But as I kept listening back, I was like, I feel like I'm just kind of bloating these songs out of proportion. So I decided to go in the extreme opposite for the full record. I am going to release these scraps one day. I'm probably going to call it the E-Waste EP or something.
That's clever. I like it.
I think it's funny that like a lot of bands like we were just talking about with these unplugged, like a lot of these electric bands do an unplugged album. I thought it'd be funny to do an electric EP instead of an acoustic EP because all these bands do acoustic. I was like, I'll do the opposite.
Yeah, it's like the reverse.
Yeah, I'll do the opposite.
I like that. That's smart. Good marketing.
Thank you.
So you started recording this process. You decided to do it acoustically. How'd that setup go for you? Can you just take us through the steps and what you did?
Yeah, I'd love to. So BJ,
because we love the technical in here. Sorry, we do love the technical.
I love the technical. I'm a huge. I mean, like the original form of the album, I was doing everything myself. I mix music. I now mix all of Atomic Broad's music. I love the technical.
Excellent.
Aspect. BJ actually recorded it for me because he has like an unbelievable talent for recording. Like he's an incredible recording engineer. He does all of it. I mean, he does like the technical, but what I think he's amazing at as well is the unsung thing that people don't talk about enough with producers is he just knows how to talk to you and get you really comfortable to get the best takes out of it.
That's amazing. That's excellent.
All the best producers do that. I absolutely worship Steve Albini and everything he does. And he almost doesn't even like the term engineer I think he said it straight up. I don't like the term engineer. He thinks that all he does is like, he undersells himself, but he says all he does is just point a microphone and encourage the artist to do what they do. And I think there's more to that. And I think there's more to what BJ does, but he nails that. He absolutely nails that.
They definitely have to create that atmosphere, give you that environment to where you can feel like, all right, time to open up and just let this creativity flow.
Yeah. And he has the honesty as well to be like, that take wasn't it. Or like, that take was it. And just, I think we work really well together. I love that man to death. I get along with him extremely well. We did the entirety of the album in 4 hours.
Wow.
Just because we just work so well together. He was just like, that wasn't the take, do it again. that wasn't the take, do it again. But like in a nice way, obviously.
Yeah.
And I would agree 9 times out of 10, like my voice would crack or like, you know, it was very obviously not the take. And we just did it a couple times. And I would say like maybe 2 or 3 songs was a first take, and then the rest were like 4 or 5 takes. Like it wasn't grueling at all. It was probably the smoothest recording session I've ever done in my entire life.
And it obviously turned out well because you're very happy with the final product and you've already got it out there. Happy. That's awesome.
Yeah, I mixed it, but I barely had to do anything. We recorded half of it in BJ's kitchen because it had this like really, really, really nice like natural reverb to it that we really liked. And for one reason or another, like I think the kitchen was being noisy because of the fridge or something. So we did the second half of the album in his actual studio. But in Ableton, I recreated the kitchen ambiance that we had by just like listening to that, like having it on my phone, just trying to compare it. And I think I captured it. So I'm not even going to tell you which ones were kitchen recordings and which one weren't because you can't tell.
Nice. Well, you know, and I'm curious because I love the title Agoraphobia. Is there kind of a theme behind this music, or did you just write what came to you?
So I would say I don't intentionally ever write to a theme. The way that I tend to write is songs kind of like come to me in like a kind of a flash in a pan kind of way. Like sometimes I'll listen to a song and it'll get like, I sit at my desk and I don't right now, but I usually have like an acoustic right here. And I sit at my desk a lot and I just listen to music I like all day, whether I'm playing a video game or just I'm listening to music all day. And sometimes a song will just pump me up and I'll just grab like my guitar and just fiddle around a little bit and maybe listen to that song again and like try to be like, what makes this tick? And then I think subconsciously there's a click and then a song just comes out. But like, I would say the only part of the song that really doesn't come out instantly are the lyrics. Like I do sing words, like it's kind of stream of consciousness. And then I look back at my stream of consciousness and try to make sense out of it later, but I don't try to make too much sense out of it. I'm not like super worried about writing a song with a particular, like when I play live, I always do this like kind of stand-up bit where it's like, I could tell you what these songs are about, but I'm not going to. And then I just play it anyway.
Leave it up to your own interpretation.
Yeah, I love that. I'm more interested in visual storytelling. Like I want you to see what I'm saying, and I don't want you to really care too much about what it means. I mean, if you want to find your meaning, do it. I encourage that, but I'm not going to tell you what it means.
Right. Now, this new album is out right now. And before I get there, though, I actually want to ask you, when you were recording this, you said BJ helped you with the recording. What was your setup like for this? How did you go about getting this all together?
Like, what was the recording setup?
Yeah.
Oh, it's super simple. BJ has like a plethora of mics. He's like me. We're both like kind of tech hoarders. And we used a single mic for my vocals. So like most of the vocals on this, I actually am a pretty loud singer normally, but I was exploring like different approaches before I came into the studio. And I kind of settled on this like really, at least for me, uncharacteristic whisper. And I decided to like basically be whispering and like airily crooning all over the thing. So
did you make an ASMR rock album?
I kind of did. And like the mic is like up on me right here. I'm basically whispering into a pop filter on a mic. And then the guitar was actually, it was double tracked, not really double tracked. There was a DI on it, like a direct in, just straight in. So we had a DI, but we cranked up the bass on the DI for that. And then we did a regular mic, a regular condenser mic right in front, like the classic 12 inches from the sound hole. No, actually, I think we did 12 inches from the 12th fret. And all I did was I so subtly creeped in that DI, and it just makes, because I play finger style, and it lets the, I don't play with a pick, except for an Atomic Broad, because I need that like punk attack. But I don't normally, I learned how to play with a pick for Atomic Broad.
Oh, so wow.
I'm not a pick player at all. So I finger pluck, and like, I guess the only problem is like, there's not as much bass response when you finger pluck in the setup that we had. I mean, there is like when you hear it live. So we just did a DI and we cranked up the bass so I could creep a little bit of that bass in there. And it sounds fuller that way because it's just me and an acoustic.
I can't wait to hear that live when you perform that live. That's got to be a very unique setup too, to recreate or try to recreate some of that.
Currently, my actual current setup is I actually play with an electric clean tone. I have like this massive ass Vox AC30. I plan on buying like a nice acoustic. All my acoustics are pieces of shit. I actually played BJ's acoustic.
Nice.
For that, because it had a DI. Mine don't even have DIs. Like, they're really like shitty hand-me-down acoustics that are. I mean, I like them because they're nostalgic, not because they're good. I plan on buying like a nicer acoustic soon.
It's whatever your preference is. You're the artist. You create the music. So, and you are from the New Orleans area as well. I mean, obviously, because that's where Atomic Broad performs. Do you actually plan to try and do some live events, or have you already done some?
I've opened for Broad a couple times.
Oh, excellent.
And that was kind of a testing the waters kind of stuff, because both of them were under like both of them were cases of another act canceling, and then Skylar was like, oh shit, what do we do? And I was like, I could open. And Sky was like, oh yeah, do it. And I did it the first time, and Skylar absolutely loved it. And then we had another person bail out in the second one, and I feel like Skylar was like secretly excited, because they're like, you get to open now. And I was like, I get to open now.
Hey, it all works out.
I'm actually planning a show on the 15th at a regular place I play at the Good. And I'm trying to do this running theme for these live shows. At first I was like, oh, I'll play with whoever, and I still will play with whoever, but when I organize a show, I'm thinking about making it all solo projects, because like almost every band, the singer has a solo project for the most part. So I'm thinking about calling it like the Strip Back Naked and Afraid shows. And the first one's going to be with Ryan from Elysian, who's another local band. And the third act, to my surprise as well, is I was talking about this, and BJ's like, I'll do it. And I was like, holy shit, you want to do it? And he was like, yeah. And I was like pumped. I was like, yes, you do it. He's gonna have a crazy setup. He has like this electronic drum kit thing. It's like, it's supposed to fit in your lap, and you're supposed to just kind of goof with it.
It's amazing where technology has taken sound and music.
Yeah, it is. And he has it set up to where it's like cocked like that way on a snare stand,
like in a vertical position.
Right. And he has like a kick pedal where he's hitting it, it's doing a kick, and then he has like another little thing he stomps on for a snare, and he's playing guitar, singing, and like playing drums at the same time.
That is too much hand-eye coordination for me.
And then like for some songs, he's gonna like tie like a bell in his ankle.
We're just gonna call BJ the human octopus from here on out.
I know, he's incredible. And like when he showed me that, I was like, this, it hasn't happened yet. It's on the 15th, and I'm like, this is gonna be awesome.
That sounds like a great event. So we're recording, we obviously with this show, we record everything in advance, but I'm guessing it's the 15th of February?
February, yeah, sorry.
Okay. But hey, if this comes out after that, don't worry, folks. I'm sure Missing Teeth is going to be putting on more performances. And of course, if you go to an Atomic Broad show, you might even get a sneak peek of Missing Teeth. Yeah. And speaking of Missing Teeth and your album Agoraphobia, where can the listeners find your music? Where are you out at right now? Do you have an EP, a website? What you got?
I'm everywhere. I have a link tree, which puts you everywhere. But I'm on all major streaming platforms: Spotify, Tidal, Apple Music. Apparently, Deezer still exists. I'm on Deezer. Wow. If you use Deezer, okay. First off, who are you? Send me an email. Second off, you can listen to it, and of course, Bandcamp, SoundCloud. My album's free everywhere. It's even free on Bandcamp for download. It's name your price. I'm not really into, when it comes to digital, I personally don't like charging. I have cassettes that I sell at live shows for $8, but
that's awesome.
Yeah, I don't like charging.
Well, fair enough. To each their own. I get it. Hey, just taking a quick little break here. Thanks for listening so far. And if you like that conversation, then I think you'll enjoy this song that Dalton was kind enough to gift to us to play for the show. This is called Scarlet from his album Agoraphobia. Check it out now on all streaming platforms.
Embarrassed your mother in front of her.
again if I could do it all with you. Things will fall if they are not propped up. The plants will die if they aren't given sun. It's hard to pin down where it all went wrong. So it will have to live inside this song. No matter where we are, you are never far, and I could not have loved you more. Despite the trouble that I'm in, I'd do it all again if I could do it all with you.
That was Scarlet by Missing Teeth from the album Agoraphobia, out now on all streaming platforms, Spotify, SoundCloud, Bandcamp, and apparently Deezer. So thanks for listening so far, and enjoy the rest of the conversation. All right, so I appreciate you kind of just taking us through the process of everything. Thank you for giving us a little behind-the-scenes look at the magic and creating this unique album that you have for your solo project here. But now we're going to get into some fun questions. And I always like to start off with the reality of the rough stuff. So for my first question for you, especially anyone out there that listens to this show, it's always the same. What was the biggest challenge that you had to overcome, or maybe even you're still working on it while doing this project for Missing Teeth?
I think for me, like I said, like songs come to me pretty quickly, but I'm very big on like the first way that I played it might not necessarily be the correct way. I'm always trying to find like what elevates the song. Like what does the song need to work? Because to me, a song is like as simple as like the words and the harmony, but even that I think is subject to change. I guess like to me, like if a song has enough elements of its original form that you could recognize it, it's still the song. Like if you play like some crazy, like if you do some crazy like electronic industrial version of Ain't No Sunshine, it still ain't no sunshine. You know, if you're singing, I know, and if there's hammers being banged in the background, it still ain't no sunshine, right?
Yeah.
It's like the melody and the words are like the most defining thing. So it's like, how can I elevate this song? What does the song need? Some songs need to be stripped back. Some songs need bells and whistles. Some song needs 4-piece. Some needs 3-piece. And just, like I said, I have 2 versions of Agoraphobia, pretty much. One's unreleased and one is released. And it was just trying to figure out like, what's the right presentation for these songs?
I'd say that's a pretty big challenge, figuring out what you are going to do with this. And the fact that you kind of redid your entire album and decided after you did all that hard work that, you know what, I just need me and my guitar.
Yeah, that was crushing. That was so crushing. Cause like I was getting really frustrated with one song in particular that kind of like made me give up on the original version. That's why I said 4.5. It's that half. Mm-hmm. It was driving me crazy because I was trying so hard to play to a click, but one characteristic that I play with a lot is tempo shifts. And it's like, you can do that on Ableton and stuff, but it's a pain in the ass. And I was just like, what am I doing? This is annoying. So I had to basically throw all that work I had been working on away. And then I was like, I'm just going to do this thing as stripped back as possible. And I was just talking to BJ and I told him about the idea and he's like, I'll record it. And I was like, Yes. Awesome. Perfect.
Problem solved.
Yeah. Problem solved.
The human octopus for the win.
I know. He's unreal.
All right, moving along. Now I want to ask you, what is something unexpected that you had to face? You know, that caught you completely off guard, and maybe even it was something that you had to learn right then and there in the moment.
I would say there's a couple things.
List them.
The first thing was my first show was like less than a 24-hour warning because like Skylar's like, what are we gonna do? And I was like, I'll do it, even though in my head I did not have a set at all. Like nothing. I had nothing prepared. Half of Agoraphobia wasn't even written yet. Because like Agoraphobia was like I said, I started in October. The album came out in January. The whole idea was just like, what can I do? Like I was just gonna write until I felt like I had a record, right? So at that point, I would say like half of it was written. So I'm sitting here like, oh man, I just said I was gonna do a show in less than 24 hours, and I haven't practiced these songs. You know, they were just kind of scraps. So I was just like learning them really quickly, and then I get to the venue, and I was like, I don't have banter planned. I don't have like, it was so just like riding by the seat of my pants or whatever the phrase is. But it was so like right then and there. But I did pretty well. And then the second show also came by surprise because I was like, oh, I did one show by surprise. What's the odds that I have two by surprise? And then the second one came by surprise. But that one went way better, I think. I was like way calmer. So I guess like just trying to prepare as quickly as possible and just get it off the ground as quickly as possible. Because I didn't expect to do it that fast. I didn't expect to have a record in 3 months, but I did.
It's almost one of those situations where you're like, yeah, I'm kind of working on something. It's like, well, put it out there. It's like, but I'm not finished yet. What do I do? And you just do it in the moment, and there you go.
Yeah, and a lot of people were talking to me about it because like I was a streamer for like almost a year. It went nowhere, and I retooled my Instagram from my streamer name to Missing Teeth. So I did that on purpose because I would have a bunch of followers. So I had followers from streaming. So like I was like, hey, I quit streaming and now I do music. And I guess I felt kind of like, all right, I need to legitimize this. I need to not look like I'm having a midlife crisis at 23 and actually legitimize it. So like one of my strategies is I don't like to talk about things because I feel like it gives the same kind of satisfaction as doing them. But there's one exception: when you tell people that you're going to do something by a date. So I did something really kind of, I guess, stupid, but it helped me get agoraphobia out. Is when I got frustrated with the original version, I was like, I'm going to do a stripped back version. And then I literally posted on Instagram, hey, I'm scrapping my whole album and restarting. It'll be out in a week. And I was like, and then I said it and I was like, man, I said it'll be out in a week and I haven't recorded like a second of it. So like BJ was like, I'll record for you. And I was like, when do you want me over? And then we did it in 4 hours. Yeah. I was like, I got a week, man. Like, can we, and he was like, we can start tomorrow. And I was like, yeah, we can start tomorrow. We actually did 2 sessions, 2-hour sessions. It was like one day and then a day off and then a day. Yeah.
Well, you heard it here first. Dalton is a man of his word.
Yeah. If I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it.
Well, and kind of keeping up the same, the same tempo of what we're talking about here. What's a hard reality you've had to deal with and accept? It's a fact of life. It is what it is. There's no way around it. You just have to embrace it and move forward.
It kind of goes back to the songwriting process. Like I was talking about, like trying to find a right home and a right presentation for these songs. I always misattribute this quote. So I'm not even going to tell you who I think said it because I always say it wrong. But good art is never finished. It's only abandoned. Nice. So it's, for me, I actually live by that really hard. And it's just like, when am I beating a dead horse? And it's like, I just need to, it's a hard reality. It's like, okay, it's time to just abandon it and release it. And just, that's that.
Just kind of embrace it. Like, this is what it is.
Yeah. Cause I wouldn't say I love all of the songs I write, obviously. Like there's some songs I write and I'm like really psyched on it. And then like a week later, I'm like, this is dribble. This is awful. So, you know what I mean? Like that's abandoned in a different sense as abandoned. Like I'm totally, I talk to a lot of people and they don't share this idea, but I'm so okay with like, this song's a mess. I'm scrapping it. A lot of people are like, oh, just retool it. Like I'm wasting time. I'd rather just start, like songs are like, for me, they're like a foundation to a house or like a skeleton. in their purest form, the way I write them, like with an acoustic. So it's like, is this foundation strong? And if the answer is no, why don't I just go build a new foundation? So that's abandoned in the sense that it's gone.
So you're not giving up. You're just like, this is a dead end with this. I'm going to continue to move forward and
That's
create
correct.
something else. Almost like you're going to just replace that song with another song.
Kind of, yeah. Like I just push it out. Sometimes I'll even throw away the lyrics because it's like, I don't want to come back to this because I know it's not worth it.
I was about to ask, would you ever revisit something down the road? Like maybe you're putting on a show live and something just clicks. Would you ever revisit that? And if it works, you'll try and fix it up, or do you just fully move on?
It's happened. One of the songs, Dollars and Dimes, like I said, I'm always coming back to the song because that song was written in 2020. Or maybe it was like 2020. It was like right after COVID started. And I don't know, like I loved the song when I wrote it, and then I hated it. And then I rewrote it, and then I loved it again, and then I hated it. And then I rewrote it, and then like I ended up going back to an older version. Like the version you hear on Agoraphobia is not even the last version I wrote. It's like 2 versions ago. And there's just, I knew I was on to something with the song, but I just was like, I was always missing a word, like a lyric wasn't working or that wasn't working. And I finally got it. And that doesn't happen super often, but that was like a case of that happening.
All right. Thank you for sharing that. I want to ask you now, what has been the most valuable takeaway that you've had from this entire experience when doing your solo project, Missing Teeth? Something that, helped you grow and improve as an artist?
Just like to do it. You know what I mean? Stop talking about it and just release it. Giving yourself deadlines, I think, is good. I think it's hard to make. It's not. I don't want to say it's impossible because that's like too general. But I think it's difficult to make music or art in general without limitation of some sort, whether that's a time constraint or I don't have the tech. I don't. To me, to be a songwriter, you just need to want it and to create. I don't think you need anything. Even if you don't record anything you ever make, even if all the songs are just written on paper and in your head and the only time they're let out is when you play them, I still think you're just as legitimate as somebody who has a recorded body of work. I personally like recorded bodies of work, A, so I could share them, and B, so I can they're time capsules, you know what I mean? Like that record I made when I was 15, I revisited it just to see where I was at 15. And I see where I am now. And like, hopefully in 3 years, I can look back and learn something from Agoraphobia that I don't realize in the moment. And I find these time capsules to be like super engrossing and super interesting. And I'm not against re-releasing a song under a different context. If 3 years from now, Dollars and Dimes changes again and I feel like it's good enough for a release, I might stick it on a compilation.
There you go. I think that's an excellent way to improve as an artist, is to go back and listen to your previous work and just see how much you yourself have advanced and improved and gotten better in a way as well. I mean, it's okay to look back at previous stuff. It's, I do this podcast and I try my best to give a professional presentation for every artist that comes on here. I want this to be your platform for you guys. I want it to be somewhere where you can just talk about your work, share that experience so others listening can, feel inspired and encouraged to go out there and do what it is that you do, and know that, it doesn't matter how difficult or unachievable you may think it is, it's very possible to do this. You just got to do it. And along the lines of what you said, going back and listening, that's how I felt about this first season of this show, is that I went back and I listened, and I'm still very proud of the work. I'm still very proud of all the artists who came on and were kind enough to help me get this started and put their work out there and, show my support and continue doing all this stuff. But as we get into this new season now, I'm making sure that, I present even more professional. I present everything to the sound quality, the editing. I'm trying my best to continue growing and improving because I did go back and I listened to everything that I've done. And it's an excellent way to improve your own content and your own techniques. So yeah, I really appreciate you sharing that. Thank you.
Yeah, I think it's essential for artists to always be reflecting on how they can improve.
Exactly. Yeah. Don't be afraid to critique yourself.
Of course, right. But also don't beat yourself up, because I do that too.
Yeah. No, I'm very much proud of the first season. I mean, it led to you coming on this show. It led to others coming back. So obviously we're doing something right here. I mean, your album is out there. People are going to hear it. They're going to love it. And you are happy with it. And like you said, you might come back and have new music from old music that you got rid of because at the time it just wasn't ready.
Right. Yeah.
And, we mentioned a bit ago about the unexpected, but now I want to ask you about the expected. What did you want from this project, Dalton? What did you want from Missing Teeth?
An album. Like, I'm also kind of just, like I said, these time capsules, right? I'm just obsessed with this. I love albums. The way I consume music is listening to a record from front to back. I don't really listen to playlists. I don't think there's anything wrong with it, but like I said, I love this idea of like, this is where this group or artist was at this part of their life. And sometimes the lyrics reflect that, but something as simple as like the recording process reflects that. I'm a huge fan of the Mountain Goats, and like early Mountain Goats records were recorded on a boombox. They sound awful, but some of my favorite Mountain Goats records are those boombox records, and they improved and now they're high quality, and I still love those new records too. But there's just something about creating like, okay, these are the songs I have at this moment that I think are ready. That's a time capsule, right? This is the way I recorded it these are the tools I had. That's a time capsule. This is what my voice sounded like. This is what my guitar playing sounded like. All of this, I love these. I love these like little moments, and I want to create my own little moments to have this like portfolio of work and just, I don't know. I write music. I find it cathartic to write music. I really like playing live. That's my favorite thing. But like, you know, I love creating albums too. I like making records.
That is totally fair. What motivates you, man? What is your drive?
One of my biggest drives is to stop working 9 to 5s.
Oh, don't
That's
we
one
all?
of my biggest drives. I want to be artistic professionally. And I say artistic because I don't really care what I do. I'm okay with doing 800 things. Like, I'm trying to do a cassette label with BJ right now. I just want to I like staying busy. I'm a very busy person in general. Like, I have a hard time sitting still. Like, even on off days where I have absolutely nothing going on, I'm reorganizing my house and moving furniture and stuff. I'm just like, I have to stay busy, and I think I have the drive to do more than working at Starbucks forever.
I believe everyone has that drive.
I do too.
All right. This is it. This is the last question here for you. Is there any advice or something that you would like to say to anyone out there looking to do what you do? To all the fellow recording musicians out there, what a piece of advice do you have for them?
I would say the biggest piece of advice I have is don't care too much about the results, because results will come. If you're worried about like growing your fan base, or if you're even crazier and you want to make money doing this stuff, which I don't, by the way, I'm not at that point. Don't care too much about it. Just make the art that you want to make. And if you're making art that you like, and this is for anybody who makes anything at all, if you like cleaning carpets, if that really is your art, and I think that is an art in and of itself, do it. And find all the time that you can to do it, and eventually people will come. If you like what you're doing, somebody else is bound to. So just keep doing what you're doing. Just keep grinding it out. Find any time that you can, as long as you enjoy it. I mean, if you start hating it, find something else you like doing. That's okay too.
Well said. Dalton, this has been awesome. I'm so glad I finally got to, virtually meet you. I do plan to make a trip back home. I'm from Louisiana myself. I live up I come from the Shreveport area.
Oh, awesome. Cool.
I love New Orleans. Although growing up, unfortunately, Dallas was kind of the second home to me because it was closer. But I love the New Orleans area. I had a lot of friends down there. I've had a lot of great times. The music is so freaking good. The music and the food are top notch in New Orleans. So anyone out there listening, if you're traveling through New Orleans and you happen to see Missing Teeth performing or Atomic Broad, do yourself a favor, pull over the car, get out and go listen to it, because it's absolutely worth it. And in fact, if you're just in New Orleans in general, just walk the streets and listen to the music, because it's an amazing place for that. And Dalton, I'm so glad you came on to tell me all about Missing Teeth, this album, Agoraphobia, that you just created, putting it out there. And right now, man, I just want you to, I know you've been talking this whole time. It's kind of the running joke on this show, but please talk some more, put yourself out there, anything else that you'd like to say, and, let us know where we can find you, where we can find your music.
I don't really have much to add, but I can tell you where you can find me. I have an Instagram. That's what I'm most active on. It's _missing.teeth. I also have a TikTok, which is Missing Teeth 138. I don't use the TikTok as much as I probably should, but I try to use it. And you can find my music anywhere that you can get digital music. If you see me live, I'll be selling cassettes as well. So that's about that. Oh, I also have a YouTube channel that I barely use, but it's there. I think it's just Missing Teeth. You can find it on my Instagram.
I love it.
I have a link tree on my Instagram.
Excellent. Just like the show, we have a TikTok and a YouTube, and I'm still trying to figure out the YouTube. Obviously, you can find this episode right here on YouTube as well as on Spotify and all that. We will have links in the show notes, so go check it out. Find Dalton wherever you can. Check out Missing Teeth. If you got Pecos Bill Rides again, give that a listen. Follow them. Check out Atomic Broad. But most importantly, go out there and support Dalton and his new album, Agoraphobia. Dalton, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
To my listeners out there, I hope you found some inspiration today. I hope you felt a little encouragement knowing that, sometimes the process isn't perfect. Sometimes you're going to hit these bumps in the road, just like Dalton. And you may say, you know what, this just isn't for me, and put that off to the wayside, scrap it, start over. It's totally okay, because it clearly will pan out for the better. So once again, guys, thank you so much for listening. And until next time, stay golden. Thanks for listening. Please be sure to rate and review and click that subscribe button for new bi-weekly episodes. As always, the theme music is provided by The Erica Page. Follow us on social media at IPA Sessions Podcast. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and now we have a TikTok and YouTube. All information and links are in the show notes. So show some love and support for these amazing indie artists. And if you'd like to come on and share your journey as an independent artist, reach out to me via email at ipasessionspodcast@gmail.com. Till next time, I hope you found some inspirations for practical application in entertainment.